Hey guys, welcome to Waypoint X Wednesdays. My name is Judd, so let's get started. Well, welcome back to the channel, guys. We really do appreciate you tuning in. Like I said, my name is Judd, and this is Waypoint X Wednesdays, an off-road podcast. So please hit that subscribe button, leave us a like, leave us a comment, and if you're over on Spotify, make sure you hit that follow button. We really do appreciate it. We're really trying to boost up our subscribers, so it would definitely help us out. So we thank you very much if you would please do so. So before we get into today's main subject matter, we've got a few things to go over, some new things, rolling around the bend. You've probably seen, if you've been watching our channel for, last few weeks, we are having a baby boy. And so that's, always, things are always moving and trying to figure some things out. We'll be wheeling here the next weekend at a park in Tennessee. Can't really name that. It was kind of a private thing. And so, but we will be videoing it. So we'll talk about that very, very soon. And so just be on the lookout for that. We've been there, so give you a little bit of a hint. Then day 2, Hawk Pride video will be coming out this weekend. So Friday-ish is what we're shooting for, Saturday at the latest. But that the second day of Hawk Pride will be coming out, and you'll want to be watching it because we do a lot more wheeling in that video, as well as we get to meet up with Everyday Off-Road and get to wheel a trail with them out at Hawk Pride called Merlin. And it was very, very difficult, really cool, and we had a blast doing it. And we have a bunch of other trails that we did as well that day, but that was one trail that we met up with them. And we absolutely had a blast. So we're definitely ready to go back there. But we've got this wheeling trip coming up this weekend. And then moving on into August, we have, I've got to do some, pre-running trips for Jeep Jamboree, because we're doing the Jeep Jamboree out at Stony Lonesome. So we're going to be doing some pre-running for that. We also have another event coming up, and we're going to be definitely check out our Facebook and Instagram over the next few days and weeks, and we'll be posting about that. It's the 360 Jeep Club, and they're putting on an event up near that area, and so we'll give you all the details. It's just a lot to write down, but we'll give you all those details, and we are actually doing some trail guiding out at Stony for that event. So we've partnered with them, and we're going to be doing an easy ride in the morning and a little bit moderate ride that afternoon. And so it's going to be a real blast, but you have to sign up. So it's not something you can just kind of show up for. You have to be a part of the event, pay for a ticket, and then as being a paid member or paid participant for the event, the actual event that they're holding, you can come out and trail guide with us and their team. So we've kind of partnered with their team, their off-road team in the 360 Jeep Club, and we're going to have a blast out there. So it should be fun. But we'll give you all the details really soon. If not, we'll put them in the description below. Like I said, it's just a lot, and so we want to keep it short and sweet and to the point. But let's go on to our main subject matter before I lose all of y'all. And today, this was also a sent-in request of things to talk about. We just made a post, actually, yesterday of the recording of this video, yesterday, about what kind of content that y'all want to see on the channel. And I think it was kind of, steered toward, not so much the podcast side, but just some videos that y'all want us to do. And I think y'all gave great feedback on that, and we really do appreciate that. And we're going to get the camera out and start doing those ASAP. But as far as the podcast is concerned, today's subject matter is it's kind of a two-part, towing your rig versus driving. And so I've been asked this question a lot. Why do I tow my rig versus drive it? And let's start with number one. So number one is if you break. That's our biggest thing, if you break. So we've kind of built our rig to the point where we won't break, but there's always that chance. You never know what's going to happen while you're out on the trail. A lot of that has to go into pre-planning, going over your rig, things of that nature, which is one of the videos that y'all requested on what I do before I hit the trail. And I think that video, the service justice needs to be done with me and a video camera at our Jeep. So that video will be coming up soon. But if you break, And that's the biggest thing. You never know. And so we throw it on the trailer, especially if we go out of state and really if we go anywhere, just because it's easier. And if you break something, you can just load it on the trailer and go home. The second reason is work. So I'm a firefighter paramedic. I work every third day. And because of that schedule, we plan trips around those couple days off, or if I have an off day, then I have multiple days off, and we kind of plan accordingly to that. And so we're on a very tight time schedule when going from trip to trip to trip, or, if we're going from this park to this park and we need to come home this day. So everything is really tight knit, and we have everything down to a science, Caitlin and I, over the past few years of trying to figure out the times and how to get back home. And so work is the biggest reason, is because if you break or something happens, you break down on the side of the road, we need to get home. Granted, yes, could the truck break down? Absolutely. But then I just pull the Jeep off and I'll drive home, I'll work, and then I'll go get my truck again. So it's kind of like that, you have that reliability if you need it. So you have two vehicles per se if something does happen. And so that's another big reason, is just work. And the third is comfort. So my truck is a lot more comfortable than my Jeep, especially for long road trips. People might argue with me, but a Jeep for going across country is just not as comfortable. My truck's got, is kind of fancy, got the heated seats and things of that nature. The AC works a lot better. It doesn't have half doors. And then, when Caitlin and I drive across the country, Caitlin has gotten to the point where it feels comfortable driving on the interstate with the truck and trailer. And so we can make up a lot of time that way, especially when we need to come home, because she'll jump in the driver's seat for a couple hours and I'll take a little quick power nap, and then I'm good to go. So I'll drive majority of the time. Then she comes in there for me to get a quick nap in, and then we're back off to the races again. So it's definitely come in handy that way for comfort, because what we do is we pack everything in the Jeep, especially on travel days. We'll just throw everything, just throw up in the Jeep. And so that way our back seat is completely open, so we can get back there, lay down, and take a rest break if we need it. So that's why comfort is such a big thing. That wasn't really the next one is really not part of my top three, but because we do take the truck, it allows us more room. And what do I mean by that? And extra parts and tools. So I put my spare tire in the bed of my truck. I have a fuel cell in the bed of my truck, especially when you go out west to different parts of the country. Fuel stops are not as accessible or as easy to find that have good diesel fuel, because sometimes you don't want to go just to some random place. You want, especially for diesel fuel, because of how it is and how it's made and how nasty it is. If it's been sitting in the ground a while, it can get bad. So, I try to go to places that are going through a lot of diesel fuel, especially like truck stops, things of that nature. They're going through a lot of diesel fuel, so they're constantly getting resupplied, so that fuel's not sitting in the ground for too long. So I do keep an external fuel cell that I'll fill up, and that way, if we let's just say we need to go to the restroom, that way we can stop on the one of the rest areas, or just an off ramp and go to a gas station that might not sell diesel, and I can fill up the truck there, go to the restroom, get a snack, and then we're back off. And that's why I keep an external fuel cell in the bed of my truck. Also, I keep a toolbox back there, and it's all secured to the truck, things of that nature. And we're able to bring extra tools, extra parts, things of that nature. I'll carry extra axle shafts for the Jeep, different kind of pullers or different kind of tools that I might keep at the shop, but in a pinch that I can't find, like an O'Reilly's or advanced things of that nature, I can actually go to that toolbox and pull those things out. For example, I have a vise, so I have a trail vise that goes into a receiver hitch that is stored in there. An extra grease gun, because especially on those wheeling trips where you're going over multiple days, it's not a bad idea to do trail maintenance in the evening or in the morning, of that second or third day. It's really a good idea to do that, because you're putting a lot of wear and tear on your Jeep during that off-road day that you kind of need to kind of spruce it up, per se. So tools, things of that nature. I also carry extra fluids, not only for my truck, but for the Jeep. So I'll carry some extra coolant. I also carry, for especially the diesel truck, I will carry some injector cleaner. It's the stuff like Lucas Oil makes it or whatever. You pour down the tank just a little bit, and it helps clean out the injectors, and it helps, with any possibly bad fuel issues, things of that nature. I'll keep that in there. Some different oils, coolants, brake fluid, things that you might need on the trail. That's what I bring. If you're going across country like that, I would highly recommend, another thing that we put in the bed of our truck is I have an old beat up Harbor Freight jack. So a floor jack that I put in the bed, and it makes changing tires so much easier. So I don't even have to pull the Jeep off. I can lift up one tire with that jack. That jack stays in my truck. And that way, if I break down or something happens, man, it's just a quick jack, boom. I get my impact out. I'll zip off the trailer tires. We're back and running. So I definitely recommend, just an old floor jack that, if it did get stolen, it's not the worst issue. I wouldn't put a brand new one in there. But something, good 3-ton thing, good jack always helps out. I also carry extra steering parts. That's just me. So since my steering is all custom, I actually got some extra tubing and made extra ends and, put the ends in it. So all I need is some heim joints, and I've got those in a spare bag, and I can build my whole steering setup over again if I needed to, if I were to break. Is that a little extreme? Yes. Now, for the guys that are, possibly, okay, you're not on custom stuff. You just bought, let's take, for example, the rusty steering. Well, if your stock steering is still in good condition, that's not a bad thing to hold on to, because you can always put it in the bed of your truck. And then if you do break it, you can always go grab it, and at least it will get you off the trail. So I try to carry things of that nature that I can't just readily go get. Sometimes you can find that at an O'Reilly's or an Advanced, but sometimes it's just nice to have spare parts. I think I also carry a shock. It really wouldn't help me out now, but I carry an extra rusty shock that I have in case, someone's shock blows out. It's not the end of the world, but I can replace it if need be. I don't know why I carry them, but I have an extra set of bump stops in there. I've actually had to replace someone's bump stops that saved them from basically tearing up their inner fenders. So you never know. And I carry some extra joints, things of that nature. And, always the zip ties and duct tape. And I also actually put a tarp in there with some bungee cords, because my Jeep doesn't always like to seal the best in the world, especially having half doors. Therefore, I carry the tarp and bungees. And, if something does break, the tarp is always a good thing to lay on, so you're not in the dirt. So those are the things I bring with me. There's probably a bunch of other stuff in there that I'm forgetting, but that basically sums up majority of it and why I tow versus drive my Jeep. You can just carry a lot more. You can be more prepared. You can get there on time. It's more comfortable, and then you can get back to work if you need to. So that's the reasons why I trailer. And then talking about my trailer, I think it's a 10,000-pound trailer. Caitlin's nodding. I believe it is. I'd have to get the exact specs. And so my Jeep, the thing about trailers is, a lot of people get a smaller trailer because they see the number 10,000 and they're like, oh, that's a lot. But they don't think that needs to be the trailer too, because the trailer weighs a little bit as well. So we're almost pushing the max limits of that trailer, but we're still underneath it. Oh, another thing, I just remembered this. We just changed all our trailer hubs out on our trailer because we had one blow. We replaced all 4 of them because we were just kind of afraid. We replaced everything, including the bearings. So we had all these extra bearings and extra, like the hub assembly, that has the studs on it. We actually had a few extra of those, and we put those in a box inside of our toolbox. So if something catastrophically happened, we had a whole nother set ready to go, and the socket that fit that axle nut and everything, Carter pins, and we had grease in the grease gun for the axle grease and everything like that. So if something were to happen, we can fix it. That's just another thing to kind of put on your list. It's kind of one of those things when you start progressing, whether you're putting money into your Jeep to get to that next obstacle, to get to that next trail. Same thing goes to when you start, venturing out further and further on your own and having to meet a time schedule because you got to get back home for work, like I said. you start preparing more and more, because sometimes you're doing those travel days on a Saturday or Sunday and you can't find parts, or you can't find parts readily available. Because if you're stuck in the middle of Arizona or something, good luck trying to find a parts store or anything close, especially traveling, basically from when you hit Amarillo, Texas to Moab, there's not much. So having those parts readily available is really key. So I know that was a lot of rambling, but it just kind of gives you an insight of what all I think about. I kind of over prepare. I bring everything in the kitchen sink with me, but usually if you bring it, you don't need it. So that's it as far as my notes are concerned. But guys, we really do appreciate it. If you think I left something out, or you think I need to add something to my rig setup, please let me know. We're always trying to do better, pack lighter, because I feel like I pack a little heavy sometimes. We've even thought about going to a gooseneck trailer at some point, just to kind of, one, have a bigger trailer that we could haul 2 Jeeps on, and weight, things of that nature, have better axles underneath the trailer. But you never know. So you might have a good suggestion for me. So please leave that in the comments below. But make sure you hit that subscribe button, leave us a like, and hit that bell for all notifications. And like I said, if you're over on Spotify, please hit that follow button. But guys, we really do appreciate it. And we thank you for supporting us. But we want to know where your next destination is, and we hope to see you out on the trail.